Welcome to another episode of Backstage Bimbo TV. We're doing some cocktails and rocktails. I'm Alycen Rouse, most notorious groupie and author of We've Got Tonight, Life and Times of Notorious Groupie, me. So on today's episode, we're going to talk about the man who made me notoriously infamous and scandalous. We're going to talk about John Entwistle from The Who. And today's cocktail is going to be pretty easy because John was known to love some red wine. And he would pay an exorbitant amount of money for red wine that was just crap. And still drink it because of the prestige. And there's even a song written about it by Pete after he died. So I will go ahead and post a link down in the bio for that song. It's a really great song. Mentions me a little. Anyway, so this is when I met The Who the first time. Boulder, 1989. Do not believe any books you read that are supposed authorized biographies, Paul Reese, because no, I never met John in a strip club. In fact, no rock star I ever knew came into any strip club I worked at because I didn't allow it. I never brought my personal life into the strip club, ever. So, it's been reported that I met John in a strip club, which infuriates me because it makes it sound like some seedy transaction. And just some starfucker that I went and screwed the bass player of The Who. That's not how we met. Today, we're going to find out how John and I met. In 1989. This is the truth. Met backstage, Boulder, Colorado. Like any other groupie does meet a rock star. I mean, Jesus Christies. Anyway, so, and this is going to be another Dani and I adventure. Hold on, folks. It's going to be crazy. So, cheers, big ears. Welcome to Backstage Bimbo TV. Pull up a chair, listen to a couple stories, and have a glass of wine. So, Dani and I had some roadie friends that were working for The Who. And Sweet Connie, you know, from Sweet Sweet Connie, she's doing her act. She had the whole show, the song, and she's been in a couple groupie specials. She was out on the road with The Who, celebrating what was her 20th or 25th anniversary as a groupie, because she first became a groupie at Woodstock or something. So she decided to go out with The Who because she'd been out with The Who before. And had known him, whatever, but she was overstaying her welcome. So these road crew guys that we knew decided to give us, me and Dani, a call and have us come out and kind of chase her off, I guess. I don't know, or make her feel uncomfortable. I don't know what the plan was. They just wanted us out on the road with them. So we're like, yeah, sure. They were going to fly us over to Denver, and for some reason we said no, and we wanted to hitchhike. We didn't tell them this, or else they wouldn't have let us do this. Hold on. Yeah, but for some reason, they would not have let us hitchhike. The boys are too protective. But we had previously hitchhiked to go meet up with the friends on Club MTV tour in Denver as well. And Dani and I wanted to do it again because we had such a great time. We met some really cool people, had a blast. Figured it would be the same this time. No. Boy, were we fucking wrong. So, we start out, you know, by Park City, Utah, which is mouth of the canyon by Salt Lake City. First car we get into was some janky old, like, white gremlin with this creepy looking, like, dark-haired guy and, like, typical stained wife-beater t-shirt and some frizzy-haired little short kind of saggy redhead woman. And this car can barely go 30 miles up the canyon hill. I mean, it's just too much for this car. And they're stopping to let us in. We have no idea what's going on. Or okay, so it's me and Dani and our friend Angie. And we have this giant suitcase. So how are three of us with this giant suitcase going to fit in your tiny little janky gremlin that can't even make it up the hill, let alone with you two with us? No. So they talk us into getting in the car. We didn't have anybody else to pull over, so we get in the car. And they start talking all kind of weird and sexual. We've got our suitcase. We're all kind of just sitting on it in the back seat, squished in as best that we can. And they start talking just weird stuff, not necessarily sexual, but kind of innuendos. And start talking about, oh, they're not going to go through Wyoming and over to Casper and down, over to Fort Collins and down. So they want us to go stay at their house for the night. And, oh, no, you'll be fine. You ladies will be fine. And they're talking about how they're just going to take us and we'll feed us. And we're like, no, we don't have time for this. We just want to get to Wyoming and then down. You know, you can drop us off at the truck stop and we can ride with truckers from there, we were thinking. No, these people did not want us to go where we were going. They wanted us to go to their house. We would love it. It's out in the middle of nowhere. You can see where this is going. So they pulled over to get gas. Finally, we make it like an hour to get up the hill just past Park City, which is normally 15 minutes. So they pull over to get gas just outside of Park City, and both of them go into the convenience store. And we stay in the car. We're like trying to figure out how to get out of here. We're not safe. We're wondering about these people. We're totally terrified. So all of a sudden, this woman who happens to be a truck driver comes out, rips the car door open, says, ladies, get out of this fucking car now. Grabs Dani, grabs Angie, gets me out, grabs our suitcase, tosses them in her truck, throws us in her trucks, locks the door, and just stands there. Doesn't say anything to us. She just like, get the fuck out of the car. And we were at the point where what we were feeling, we're like, yeah, we agree with you. We're going to get the fuck out of this car. So we get out, get in her truck. She's got us protected. And the couple comes out to get back in the janky little gremlin car, this little white car, and looking around, freaking out. We can hear the husband kind of screaming through the window, but we can't hear what he's saying. He starts just punching the car. She just gets in and slams and is like screaming, just get in, start honking the horn. And you can tell they're looking around. They're trying to find us. Where the hell did they go? So they take off. Well, the lady trucker, after this happens, after they leave and they're at a safe distance, the woman gets in her semi and is like, they were going to kill you. I was standing in the convenience store listening to what they were talking, and they were talking about making you slaves in their home. And years later, I was watching a cold case file, and kid you not, saw these people, and they had kept 2 other women as sex slaves under their bed for years. So, whoa, we were saved from that. So she finds us, a couple truck drivers going along the way that'll get us over to Evanston, Wyoming, which is only an hour and a half north of Salt Lake City. And, okay, fine, we'll go to Evanston. We know we can get a ride from there. So we get with another truck driver, drops us off at Evanston, whatever. Hit back on the highway. The 3 of us are hitchhiking with our giant suitcase. And we're just kind of standing there waiting for a couple semis, someone to come along, pick us up. When I turn to my right and I look up the road and see like this kind of perm set granny hair and this potato looking thing and looking person, and I'm not prejudiced in any way or judgmental in any way, shape, or form. But from far away, all you see is like this white t-shirt and these like kind of croppy jeans. And it's, yoo-hoo, ladies, coming running towards us. And we're like, who's this? Well, okay, what else can happen? We've already almost been kidnapped and kept as sex slaves. What else is going to happen now? So as the person gets closer, we realize this is not a woman. This is a guy in the worst wig, and nothing wrong with being true to who you want to be. I'm all for that. But at least get a good wig and boobs. Because, I mean, it was so bad. The wig was so bad, and her bra was stuffed with, like, toilet paper. Probably from the gas station we had just come from. But, yeah, and she starts just talking to us, and what are you doing? And she's a traveling hooker, I guess. I don't know about this stuff. I don't spend a lot of time at truck stops. Not even since then. And yeah, so she starts telling us how we're never going to get a ride because there's 3 of us and they would only want her because she's what all the truckers are looking for and this and that. And okay, whatever. So right as she's saying all this stuff, 2 trucks pull over, 2 semis. So, and it's 2 truck drivers driving in tandem because they're carrying a load of cantaloupes to the East Coast. So we've got our ride into Denver. We're cool. We're going to make it to the hotel. And we did. And so Angie and the hooker jump into the front semi, and Dani and I jump into the back semi. Where the guy's like, oh, I got cantaloupe, cut it open, feeding us cantaloupe, cool. So we don't make it 5 miles down the road, and we're talking on the CB back and forth to Angie, making sure she's safe, making sure everything's cool. We're all going to make it together. Well, oh God, not even 2 miles down the road, all of a sudden, this truck stop hooker is just bragging about they wouldn't want us, but they want her and all this stuff. Now 2 miles down the road, the front, we get a CB, I'm pulling over now. And you just see the semi just pull over to the side of the road just all of a sudden and tossing out the transsexual hooker. So we made it to our destination, to the Who. She didn't make it to hers. I don't know what her destination was, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't the side of the road. So anyway, we make it to the hotel. They drop us off. We meet up with our friends, go hang out the night before, and we meet Sweet Connie. Really nice lady. Really, really super nice lady. Nothing bad to say about her. Just having a good time. Dani and I are checked into our room. We're just being comfortable and hanging out with our friends because there's always an extra room on every big tour called Just In Case. So we were just in case. And, Dani and Angie and I, we needed it so bad because it was such a horrific way up there and dealing with like this couple trying to kill us and then not sure if we were going to get a ride and being chased down by a transsexual hooker. And so we just had a nice little night, get up the next day, go to the show, and just hanging out during sound check and stuff. And I walked into the front of the stage from the FOH board where one of my roadie friends was working. So I was walking towards the front of the stage with Dani and another one of our roadie friends, and John was doing sound check with his bass. There's the moment he first saw me, right there. We had an earthquake last year, and I haven't had this frame fixed yet, so sorry about the crack, but yeah. This was John playing bass in Boulder, Colorado in 1989, and this is the exact moment he saw me, because one of the roadies that was with us walking towards the front of the stage, because we were just going to go backstage, had his camera with him, and he took this picture, and this is it. This is when John first saw me. And that's the show we met at, was in 1989. So we go backstage, and Dani, I had lost Dani a little bit of us going to the gig. We'd been on the bus smoking weed, whatever. She takes off, and so I go backstage, and all of a sudden I see Dani and Roger Daltrey in a little golf cart. And she's just backing up, hey! Just being crazy, fun, crazy Dani, just, what's up? Twirling Roger Daltrey socks, because we got to mention the Roger Daltrey socks. And I still don't know Roger Daltrey. Dani hung out with him, not me. But anyway, so yeah, she goes and backs up over some local security guard, runs over his feet, and was like, oh, sorry. Just takes off. So there she goes, Roger Daltrey and her in some golf cart, followed by Jake, the production manager, and I think it was Bill Kerbishley at the time. I think he might have been out with him. This was the tour that they brought the whole symphony out because Pete didn't want John up to 11. So instead of dealing with John's loud bass, they made him turn down, and they brought out the symphony. So anyway, we're backstage, and I go with my roadie friends, go to where the dressing, this is an outdoor arena at the University of Colorado. So I go backstage, and out of the little dressing trailer comes John. He's got a cigarette, he's got a little glass of wine or something. I think it was brandy, actually. So he comes out, and he's just kind of making a beeline to our little group of people standing there talking. And he comes over, and my roadie friends introduced me to John. And I loved his hands. Like, he shook my hand and kind of gave it a kiss and did a little peck on the cheek and talked. And he was like, wow, you have beautiful eyes and whatever. And we just were having a conversation, and for some reason we just didn't hook up because there was somebody else there with him. I don't think it was Maxine, his wife. But it wasn't me. And so we just talked for a while, and the rest of the concert, like, we were standing on the side of the stage. Like, he would come over, make sure I had everything I wanted. Like, he sent the girl he was with out to the FOH and made sure that me and Dani were on the side of the stage. And of course Dani was going to be there because of Roger. So yeah, that's when we met, and he made sure that we always had drink and smoke and whatever we wanted, and kept me on the side of the stage rather than the woman that he was with. And I don't know if it was someone he just knew in Colorado, but I don't think it was his last partner, Lisa, because every woman he's been with, except for his first wife, he's had a woman at home before he replaced the previous woman. He found another woman before, anyway. So, and that's not judging him. He was a wonderful, incredible man, but he just was on me like rice all night long. And we stood, and we even back at the hotel, we were hanging out, and I went up to his room and I slept in his room with him, but we didn't have sex, and I don't know why. It was my choice, but I think it was because he was saying something about how he was working things out with his wife, and I'm like, well, sorry, no action, because if I know there's someone at home, I'm going to stay away from you. So Maxine, don't worry, I slept in the bed with your husband, we just slept. And I don't think you guys had been married yet. But so yeah, and that was when John and I met, and we just hung out the rest of the night. We had a few drinks, went up to his room and slept. The morning before we went to the gig, Sweet Connie was calling all of the rooms, trying to find me and Dani and Angie, and trying to get us to go say hello to the road crew with her. We didn't know, dude. We're already out here thanks to the road crew. So anyway, to get us home, that's how John and I met. We just slept. The Who left the next morning. They flew out. And the crew, literally, to get us home safe, because we told them how we got there, and boy, they were pissed. They were like, you didn't let us fly you out, and you hitchhiked, you stupid? Yeah, we kind of were. So anyway, that's how John and I met. We met backstage in Boulder, Colorado. Chemistry was just there from the instant we met, and I wanted him even before I met him, but after I met him, I wanted him even more, but it just didn't happen like that night, which was fine, because it did happen later. Come to Patreon and I'll tell you when it did. So there you go, boys and girls. Don't believe the rumors you hear about how I met John. It was no seedy transaction. It was a normal groupie meets rock star backstage. Chemistry flies. Okay, we did kiss a little bit, but we really didn't go past that. And that was how John and I met, backstage, Boulder, Colorado, 1989. First time he saw me. My picture. And the roadie gave this to me a few months later when he was on another tour. He made sure I had this picture. So there you go, guys. Hope you enjoyed the story. Little stupid, kind of, don't hitchhike. Don't get in cars with freaky ass people that might want to keep you a sex slave. So, alright, cool beans. Hope you enjoyed it, folks. Cheers, big ears. Hit the subscribe button, hit the likey button, and hit the bells. See you next week on Backstage Bimbo TV, Cocktails and Rocktails, and another story.